Welcome to another episode of EBR's AI Compass. Today's title is Productivity Partner. This video is going to be all about how educators and staff across our district can use AI as a time-saving partner while still staying aligned to our expectations for integrity, privacy, and instructional quality. Throughout this video, you're going to see practical examples tailored to different roles, from communication and lesson planning to differentiation and feedback. Each example will focus on real tasks that take up so much of your time right now and how AI can help draft, organize, and streamline that work. Before we begin, you'll also see our district's non-negotiable guardrails, what's always allowed, what requires caution, and what is never appropriate when using AI. One important reminder before we get started: AI can generate ideas and drafts, but professional judgment always stays with you, the educator. As you watch, we encourage you to think about just one tool or one workflow that you want to try this week or next week, and just see how it enhances your workflow. All right, so let's get started. As always, we are the instructional technology team. If you have any questions about anything that we go over in these videos or lessons that we have been putting out, make sure you reach out to us. We are happy to go in and clarify or give more information about anything that we are discussing.
Welcome, teachers. In this phase, we call you the architect. Why? Because you aren't just delivering content, you are designing the framework for high-quality instruction, whether you teach math, ELA, science, social studies, or any other subjects. You build the foundation for student understanding. Every great architect needs a blueprint, right? So as you look at this slide, we're going to focus on the activities and materials as well as the student work sections of the LER rubric. We don't want students just reproducing facts. We want them organizing, analyzing, and evaluating information. We want activities that are student-centered and connect learning to their real-world experiences. This is a gold standard, but we know designing this level of rigor, or finding it from scratch, takes immense time. So this is where Gemini becomes your partner and your assistant. You let AI draft the materials, but you remain the inspector. You're going to use the summaries checklist for every resource Gemini generates to ensure it aligns with the LER rubric and HQIM standards. So you want to ask yourself, is the content explicitly tied to the standard, to the state standard? Does it spark creativity or analytical thinking? If the AI misses the mark on rigor or relevance or any of these checklist parts, you are the expert, so you fix it. To get the blueprint you have to give Gemini clear specs. You want to give it a detailed prompt and the following details. 1, the who, the grade level and the subject that you're teaching. 2 is the what, the specific standard or concept you will be teaching. 3, the output. Be specific about the resource type you want it to generate. Do you want it to generate an instructional plan for pacing, a student activity for problem solving, or an assessment that goes beyond multiple choice? The better your output, the better your build. So I'm going to show you the prompt that I use to generate a material that is, to me, high quality. But of course, you guys, we all have different opinions of what high quality looks like. But this is just what I use with Gemini and with the LER rubric to show you what it kind of looks like. So you can click on the prompt, the word prompt, if you do have access to this slideshow. And this is just the implementation guide that Gemini created that explains how it aligns with the LER and HQIM together. And this part right here is the master prompt. What I did, I just copy and paste this prompt. Of course, you can create your own prompt, but make sure you have the A, as in like you have to give it a role, a, and then you're gonna tell it to create something. The task is the R is the role, T is the task, C is context or and constraints. Okay, that is very, very important. And then of course you want to copy paste this part as well. This part you don't change. So you're gonna go to, I already did one for you just in case because we don't have time in this video. So all I did, I copy and paste right here. I change what's in the bracket so that I can generate, or Gemini can help me generate using those details that I input. So I change it to slideshow, things like that, but I did not change anything else. And this is what it generated. I prompted Gemini to generate a slideshow, and they do generate slideshows now. And of course, you can export to slides to edits. So let's just say you don't want slideshow because your curriculum already has slides embedded in. If you don't have a lesson plan that covers your standard, you can use Gemini to create a lesson plan as well. So it looks like this. It gives you the time, standard, things like that. And then let's just say you want to create high quality student work assignments. So then it looks like this. If you don't like it, you can always change it. So after it generates an activity for you, like this, and if you want to print it, sometimes, most of the time, it will let you print. But if not, you can always see this part right here. It says share and export. You can click on export to docs. And there's a lot more other things that Gemini can create, but that's all for today. Hopefully, Gemini can be your assistant and help you with cutting your planning time in half. Have a great day.
The Advocate, differentiation for ESS and ESL. The traditional one-size-fits-all curriculum can often leave students behind. The goal in equity is to give every student access to grade level concepts at their access point. When we modify text, we aren't lowering the expectations of students. We're allowing students to engage while thinking critically. There are several guardrails and critical safety notices that must be in place when using AI. Use AI to brainstorm teaching strategies, simplify language, and create visual aids for diverse learners. However, never upload a student's IEP, 504 plan, or psychological evaluation into any AI tool. The rule is, if it contains personally identifiable information, or PII, or it's a legal document, it stays out of the cloud. Protect your students' privacy to protect their future. In this lesson, we're going to use instant differentiation with Gemini. This is called levelizing text or the text leveler. In this scenario, you have a complex 10th grade biology article on cellular respiration. For the demo, we're going to input either the URL or the PDF into Gemini, and our output will be three distinct versions of 3rd, 5th, and 8th grade levels generated in under 30 seconds. In under 60 seconds. These distinct versions will allow students to capture their understanding immediately. So if we click here, this will bring us to our PDF. Remember, in Gemini, we can either upload the URL into Gemini or we can download the article. Once it's downloaded, we're going to open Gemini. Here, we're going to ask Gemini to please level the text into a 3rd grade, 5th grade, and 8th grade level for students. We also want to be specific. I would like it to still use the key vocabulary terms while also releveling the text. And I'm going to list those here. Once I have in my prompt, I can again either do two things. I can enter the URL that's here by copying and pasting, or I can add in the actual PDF copy. I'm just going to drag it and drop it in here from my downloads. Once I'm done doing that, I'm going to press on the submit button and I'm going to allow Gemini to make an analysis of what has been sent as well as the prompt. When it is done, it will generate the information as needed. It says, here's information on cellular respiration adapted for different grade levels while keeping your requested vocabulary terms. I took those notes and it broke it down for those students, basically putting it in layman's terms for them while keeping in the vocabulary words that I requested. In addition to that, it provided notes for or links for reference to the specific area of notes where it drew this information from. And again, it is leveled into a third grade, fifth grade, and eighth grade text. Additionally, Gemini will ask additional questions. If you would like to have more lint to it, create a Google slide or a short quiz, it can do that as well, as long as you enter in that specific prompt. So let's focus on moving beyond the paperwork and IEP strategy implementation. In this scenario, the student needs executive function support, and we're going to use this through chunking of assignments. Oftentimes, students will need to break projects down into a step-by-step checklist that will allow them to microtask the assignment at hand so that they will be successful. As a result, the students receive the necessary accommodations through a modified approach, and this again ensures success. So for this prompt we have here, I have a student overwhelmed by this 3-page research project on the life cycle of caterpillars. Create a 5-day step-by-step checklist that breaks the project into microtasks. For this prompt, I am going to copy and paste it because it's already written. I'm going to go to Google Gemini and I'm going to start a brand new chat. I don't want to add it onto this one because this one is a separate chat and is speaking on cellular respiration and releveling text. For this one, I want to create a task list for my student. After clicking on the new chat box, I'm going to enter this prompt here. And notice it does not have the student's specific name, nor does it have the student's IEP accommodations. Once I've entered in the prompt, Gemini will break down it will break down the task so that the students have a day-by-day checklist in order to successfully complete their project. Day 1 is a scout phase where they focus on their research. While focusing on their research, it gives them 4 big tasks. Day 2, they're going to focus on their outline and their intro. They're going to create a map, label it, and it tells them exactly what pages to do and what pages each one of these tasks should fall on. They're going to write their intro and then they're going to draft their page. Additionally, it provides them with a graphic for support. Day 3, it goes into the caterpillar life. It gives them 4 tasks, and their goal is to complete the middle section of the paper. And day 4 is the final page of content. Again, the checklist is here for the students, ensuring success. Additionally, Gemini will also give tips and ask if you would like to have additional resources created for those students. In conclusion, AI is your teaching assistant. It's not the teacher. Use it to do the heavy lifting of format so you can focus on the heart of instruction.
Now let's talk about how AI can help you with feedback and grading so that you can spend more time on facilitating instead of creating rubrics or typing in the same comments over and over and over. Giving high quality feedback is one of the most important things that we do as teachers, but it's also one of the most time consuming. So, using AI to help with this, it won't replace our expertise, but it will help us to draft comments faster and make our rubrics cleaner and more clear. Before we dive into this, we want to go over those guardrails again. Remember, it's really, really important that we never upload student names or IDs. We never let AI sign the final grade. You, the teacher, are always the grader of record. Remember that AI can suggest, but you are always the one that makes the decisions. Think of AI as our drafting assistant, not the decision maker. So, the first thing we want to look at with AI is building a rubric. Remember, we have to do that role, the task, and the format. For this one, our role would be the teacher. Our task would be to create the rubric, and we would just tell them what type of rubric we need. So, an example on the screen says to create a rubric for a student podcast project with criteria for creativity, audio quality, and content accuracy. Use 4 performance levels and write it in student friendly language. So I put this prompt into Gemini, and this is what it spit out to me. I'm going to show you how you can go in and you can do the same. You don't have to use Gemini, you can use something else, but Gemini is an approved AI tool that we can use in the district. So Gemini is one that we do recommend to use. So I'm going to show you how to use Gemini. So we're just going to come here, click on our waffle, and find Google Gemini. So it's gemini.google.com if you wanted to type everything in yourself, or you can just come here and start typing. So I'm going to go back over to my presentation and just copy this in, and then I'll click here and paste. So here we have the entire prompt. Click submit, and Gemini will spit out that entire rubric for me right here. So if you scroll down, you can see I have all of the criteria that I asked for, and there's this little button that says to export it to Sheets. This part I want to make sure that I do is export it to Sheets because, and then open Sheets. The reason I want to export it to Sheets is because I have to make sure that I use my voice. So with this, Gemini gave me everything that I asked it for, but I need to go in and make sure that this is really what I need. So I can go in and I can change my format, and I can also make it fit my teacher voice. So students know your voice. Make sure that you're using your voice to go in and edit these AI tools. So I'll go here and format this and kind of read through it, and I can go in and change whatever I need. So whatever words I don't want, I could just take them out. Whatever words I want to add in, I just click and add it, because now this is my copy of that rubric to do with it as I please. I have another example here that I used. Build a rubric for a 5th grade ELA teacher for a narrative writing using the Louisiana student standards. And with that, I went in and I attached those standards. So when you're putting in your prompt, right here at the bottom, there's this plus sign, and you can add in files. So I uploaded the Louisiana standards for writing and put it here, attached it to this prompt. And now with my rubric, it is aligned to the Louisiana standards. So it's not guessing, or it's not pulling in information from anywhere. It's pulling in information from exactly the source that I need it from. Same thing, I can scroll through, click right here, and then export it to sheets. Right at the bottom, you see they have the key standards that this rubric referenced. If I needed to reference some other standards, I can go in and prompt it to edit to reference those standards. Another really great feature from AI is that grow and glow feedback. Now, if you teach writing or any subject that has open-ended responses, this one is a game changer. So brisk teaching, if you use brisk, it's an extension, and I'll show you how you can make sure that you have that brisk extension on your computers in a minute. If you have this, you can go in and tell it to highlight the strengths and areas for improvement in this paragraph. Keep your language short, clear, and actionable for the student. Once you put that in, brisk will actually give you those grows and glows for your students. So if you don't have the brisk extension already downloaded on your computer, you're just going to go here, do brisk extension for Chrome. You can come here to the Chrome Web Store and add it to Chrome. So if you don't have it, just put it on. Brisk is a freemium extension, so make sure that you keep that in mind. You won't have all of the capabilities that it can do, but it can do a lot of things for the free one. So let's get back into our sample papers. So what you can do is open up one of your sample papers. So I have this one open. Once I have it open and I have this extension downloaded on my computer, I can just click this and sign in. Once you sign in, go ahead and click continue with Google. And then we're going to click right here where it says give feedback. So we can do batch feedback, or we can do glows and grows. So batch feedback, you can import multiple pieces. So I told you brisk can save you time, right? So we can just go to glows and grows right now. So I'll do that one first, glows and grows. And then I'm just going to specify a focus of my feedback. Have my grade right here. I can go in and even add in standards and a rubric. So, the more you give AI, the more it gives you. So we're going to keep it standard right now. I'm going to say brisket. And look what happened. It gave me a glow. It gave me a grow. And it also gave me what I was wondering about. Will I just put this directly onto my student's paper? Of course not. We're going to make sure that we go in and we edit this. So we can go in, copy it, come over here and just paste it in. So now I have my glow, my grow, and my wondering. I'm going to go in and put in my actual teacher voice. So it says you did a great job showing the frustration, excitement, or blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go in and change this so that it sounds like Ms. Davenport, because this doesn't sound like me. So I can go in, because Brisk gave me my starting point, I can take out whatever I want to and add in my own voice. So here I'm just going to type this for now. Add my voice to this. So now that you have all of these different ideas of how AI can be your productivity partner, make sure that you always keep this in mind. Your brain is the final filter. Before you use any AI output, ask yourself, is this accurate? Is this unbiased? And is this clear, compliant, legal, ethical, accountable, and responsible? You are responsible. You are ultimately the most responsible person for the AI generated content that you choose to use. So make sure that you are vetting this information and not just using it as fact. Try something new from this video. Try the Grow and Glow, try the rubric generator, try something and see if AI can be your productivity partner.
The title of this section is The Communicator, and its focus is going to be on using Gemini as a communicator. Gemini can be a very powerful tool to help teachers, administrators, counselors, and even support staff to communicate more effectively. AI streamlines communication while saving time and strengthening connections with stakeholders. So, we're going to practice prompting to get a response to an email and a recommendation letter. So, we're going to start first with the email. So, we're going to go to Gemini. And I'm going to type in the information so that we can prompt it to help us reply to an email. So I'm going to say draft a response to an upset parent who is requesting a meeting about let's say a grade issue. Okay. So we're gonna let it do the thinking. All right, so it gave us, here is the response that it gave us. So always remember, whenever you're prompting and you get your response, it still always require human action. And what I mean by that is you always have to go in and personalize it. You cannot just put this like this, okay, the subject, you see how it has students' names. Like that is the part as a human that you have to go in and fill in. You have to fill in the class or the subject. You have to fill in the parent's name. You also have to see, it's telling you down here that they're proposing a certain time for a meeting. It can either be in person or it can be virtual. That information is here. Like you just have to go in and fill in the dates that actually work for you, because Gemini doesn't actually know what schedule, works for you. All right. So then all you would do is just copy this information and humanize it. So you're going to personalize it to fit the person that you're speaking to. Okay. Next up, simple. We're just going to do a new chat. And now we're going to prompt it to help us create a recommendation letter. Oftentimes you're asked to write recommendation letters for your students. So Gemini can kind of help you save time with doing that. You just have to enter in the appropriate information so that you can get the correct output. All right, so I'm going to say create a I have to spell it right first. Recommendation letter for, I'm trying to think, a senior student, okay? Let's put some information about the student. He plays basketball. He has a 3.2 GPA. And he is a member of the, let's say 4-H club, okay? All right, so we included a little bit of information just to kind of practice with it. I mean, if you were actually doing this, you're going to know exactly what you need to include. So remember, when prompting, the more you put in, the more you'll get out of it. So as specific as you can be with your input, your output is also going to be specific, or it's going to be personalized to the person or to the thing. All right, so let's have it go ahead and think. Okay, so here, once again, remember, when you're prompting, everything that you're using AI for, it still requires human action, because we always are going to vet our information and we're going to have the last hands on it. We're not just going to send out anything that AI presents to us. So here, AI is not quite sure who you're writing the letter to, but if you wanted it to specify that, you could have put that in there. But anything that has little brackets around it, you would go in and you would humanize it. So you would put the correct information. You would put the date, you would put the student's name, you would put your title, you would put the school name that you work at, and then you go down here and it's giving some other things. Often for me, a best practice is I like to use AI to get ideas. Sometimes I even will write my own information up and then I'll just kind of have AI to kind of fix it or make it sound better or rephrase it or something. So everybody uses it for different reasons. Just remember that you have the final say in everything. So you need to always go back over it and vet it and make sure that it's saying what you want it to say. So it remembered that said about it being a basketball player, the guy. I also said that the student was in a 4-H club, okay? So everything that I put in, it's here. So remember, the more you put in, the more you get out.